He's got his like.
We won't give up this fight because the Postal Service is the people's right. We won't stop, we won't quit, we won't give up this fight because the Postal Service is the people's right. Stop, we won't quit, we won't give up this fight because the Postal Service is the people's right. We won't stop, quit, give up this fight because the Postal Service is the people's right. Power people stop. Ain't no power like power people. Power people. Say what? Ain't no power like power people. Fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! Postal workers are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back! Postal customers under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! All right. Woo! We say fight back. Cut back. Fight back. Cut back. Fight back. They say cut back. We say fight back. Cut back. Fight back. Cut back. Fight back. They say cut back. We say fight back. Cut back. Fight back. Cut back. Fight back.
Wow. Excellent turnout. Thank you all for being here. First, I just want to read this plaque behind me. I know many of you may be familiar with the monument where we are, but I know many of us drive past this every day and have probably never noticed it. But this is a memorial to the battleship Oregon and to the sailors and Marines that served aboard her. The battleship Oregon was commissioned in 1896 and earned distinction in the Spanish-American War and in World War I. So it's fitting today that we gather here at a Veterans Memorial on this Veterans Day. And also, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm pleased to tell you that the battleship Oregon was the last U.S. naval vessel that was named after the state of Oregon until October of this year, when a new nuclear-class submarine was launched out of the USS Oregon. So once again, in honor of all the men and women proudly serving our country. Okay.
Hey, folks that are down there, come over this way, because the speaker's over here. Come on down this way. You all over there, come on down this way.
Thank you for being here today, facing the cold and the wind. My name is Daniel Cortez. I'm the Legislative Director and Political Director for the Oregon Postal Workers Union. Earlier this year, the 4 major postal unions formed an historic alliance with the singular mission to save America's Postal Service. I am pleased to see so many of my postal sisters and brothers here today. No longer will the Postal Service be able to address the needs of some at the expense of others. Standing together, we can overcome so much more than if we were apart. I am proud to see sisters and brothers from other unions here as well. The strong support of America's labor movement is essential to our success. I'm also pleased to see so many community members and coalitions. Jobs with Justice, Occupy, Veterans for Peace, and the Canadian Postal Workers United, and everyone else that is with us today. Welcome all, and again, thank you for coming. As many of you know, the United States Postal Service is the largest civilian employer of veterans. Roughly 25% of all postal employees have served or are now serving in our nation's armed forces. These women and men have traded one uniform and type of service for another. Today we honor and thank them for their continued service to the American people. From my great-grandfather in the First World War, for my nephews currently serving in the U.S. Army, my family, like millions of other families across our country, is not unique in having a serviceman or woman ever present in our hearts. Before we begin, I want to recognize and thank all of our veterans in attendance today. Thank you for coming out. And more importantly, thank you and your families for your service and sacrifice. Let's cheer for the veterans here today. The United States Postal Service is under assault, and we're not talking about threats to the mail for new innovations. In fact, thanks to things like e-commerce, the Postal Service earned more than $1 billion in profit this year.
Right.
No, the biggest threat to America's Postal Service is not from the internet, any more than it was from the fax machine, or the telephone, or the telegraph.
Right.
No, the biggest threat to the Postal Service is from within. Postmaster General Donovan is about to make draconian cuts to the Postal Service. These cuts are so severe that if enacted, they will forever damage America's mail system. Overnight delivery will be virtually eliminated, including first-class mail within the same city. All mail will be delayed, including medication, packages, bill payments, and ballots. Imagine the impact on Oregon's vote-by-mail election if the post office can let our ballots sit for days on end.
That's right.
Beginning January 5th, these cuts will take effect unless we act now. Beginning January 5th, the Postal Service plans to close or consolidate 82 mail processing and distribution centers.
No.
3 of these are here in Oregon. In fact, the current plan of the USPS is to have all Oregon mail processed in just Portland and Medford. It doesn't take too much of an imagination to see that the next step might be that all West Coast mail can be processed in Seattle and San Francisco. Thanks again to all of you for standing with us here today. We have some great speakers lined up, and we will end with a march back to the fountain. To get us started, I would like to introduce the president of the Oregon Postal Workers Union, Bob Vaca.
Hello, everybody. I just want to thank everyone for coming out today. You know, if these cuts go through, like Daniel said, it will be irreversible. It'll never go back to the way it was. And it's taken away from the people. It's the people's post office, and it shouldn't be privatized. We've gone too far already. And this is the way that we fight back. The community getting together. The communities all over the country getting together and fighting back. Thank you.
Up next we have Portland, Oregon area local APWU President Brian Dunsmore.
Hey! Yeah.
Hey!
Damn, it's cold. Hey folks, I'm Brian Dunsmore, President of the Portland, Oregon area local, and I'm out here today to talk to you about the things that nobody wants to talk about. I'm out here to talk about the homeless.
Right.
See them out here today?
Point the gun out.
They are a blight. They are a symptom of society's wrongs. Because what we're talking about is class warfare. Delaying the mail, you know who that affects?
Everybody.
No, that affects you and me. It doesn't affect Walmart. It doesn't affect Amazon. It doesn't affect Bank of America. It affects you and me.
Yeah.
We gotta start looking out for each other and looking out for those below us. Quit worrying about the greedy. The Stars and Stripes doesn't stand for greed. It stands for liberty. It stands for what we fight for. I served 8 years in the Marine Corps. I did not fight to have the mail delayed.
Right.
I did not fight to have my rights squashed. I did not fight to see homeless in the streets.
Right.
That is a failure of society. That is your fault, my fault, everyone's fault. There is a home for that homeless person. We just have to decide to do it. There is mail to be delivered overnight. We just have to decide to do it. We have to quit standing on the sidelines and fight for what we want. Fight for what we deserve and fight. I'm proud, and I'm going to talk about something we also don't talk about. I like my job. I deserve the wages I earn.
Yeah.
It's not about bringing people down. It should be about bringing people up. Berkeley here. Minimum wage is $7.25. Homelessness is so in our society. Minimum wage is a symbol of our greed and corruption. It must change. We must stop the greed and corruption. We must start fighting for what is right, for what we believe in. The Postmaster General's not the problem. It's a waste of our time to ask for him to be fired. The problem is the Florida governor. They're all push appointees. You fire the Postmaster General, and guess who you get? Another push appointee. There are 5 vacancies on that board of governors. Not one of them is an Obama appointee. That is a result of a failed Senate. That is a result of failed filibuster reform. Championing all that is Senator Merkley. We must get that changed. We must have appointees that serve everyone's interest and not just President Bush's and the corporate welfare that's going on in America today. Staff the Board of Governors with real people who care about real service, who care about overnight deliveries for the common American, for you and I, not for Amazon. Yeah! We're going to have a moment of silence at the end of this talk today for the veterans. The veterans do not want our silence. They did not die for silence. They did not sacrifice for silence. You must stand up, you must speak up, and you must fight, fight, fight! Yeah!
This or the microphone, what worked better? Microphone.
Maybe the bullhorn and the microphone.
Here. We need to work together to stop the cuts and closures. Talk to our friends and family around the country and get them involved in this fight. We need them to talk to their representatives and senators and urge that Congress pass a moratorium on the elimination of service standards and that the USPS keep the plants open and running to keep delivering all of the mail on time 6 days a week. Fortunately, for those of us here in Oregon, we have a few champions. One in particular is Senator Jeff Merkley. Whether he is leading the fight to protect family wage American jobs or striving to implement legislation that will close the loopholes that allow for-profit institutions to saddle students with enormous debt while giving them worthless degrees, Senator Merkley has long been a champion of the middle class.
Yeah!
Right.
He understands the importance of America's Postal Service in fulfilling the mission entrusted to it by the Constitution to bind the nation together. A few months ago, he, along with Senator Wyden and more than half of the Senate, signed a letter urging a one-year moratorium on the closures and service standard cuts. We want to thank Senator Merkley for all of his support. We look forward to 6 more years of his dedication and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce Senator Jeff Merkley.
Hey! Perfect, perfect.
Hi, everybody. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you. How many veterans do we have?
Done.
Let's give our veterans a round of applause. Today is a day that we're thinking a lot about our veterans, a lot about the issues related to education, issues related to provision of health care here. Certainly the provisions related to creating good jobs for our Oregon National Guard when they come back home. And speaking of jobs, we're concerned about some jobs here in Oregon and across the nation in our postal system. I don't know of any organization or government that has a bigger share of its employees as veterans. And so this is very real, and it's very appropriate that today we're thinking about this issue on how do we keep these processing plants open in Eugene and Bend and Pendleton. How do we do this across the nation for both the jobs and the quality of delivery, the delivery standards? We're fighting for delivery standards for the postal system across our nation. That's what we're doing for this job. So these things go hand in hand. We've had this battle in the U.S. Senate. We're going to keep having it. We're going to have it in the House. And I can tell you I'm going to be there with you four square, shoulder to shoulder. Now, one of the things that I got involved in was a fight to save our rural post offices. Postmaster General wanted to shut down 41 rural post offices here in Oregon. Well, guess what? They're all still open. So we have to take the same determination, the same unity to this fight. I'm going to be there with you. Thank you so much, and a special thank you today for all of our veterans who stood up for us overseas, and let's stand up for our veterans here at home. Thank you so much.
One more round of applause for Senator Merkley. Up next we have NALC Branch 82 President Jim Falvey.
Alright, everybody, thanks for coming out. You know, there's a wind blowing today, right? And it's a wind of change. Because things are going to change. Now, we have a great advocate here today for us, Senator Merkley, but we got to be aware we have a new enemy. And his name is Ron Johnson. And he's taking Isa's place, and he's going to be headed. You know what he wants to do? He wants to drive us into bankruptcy. We can't have people like that telling us what to do. Okay? So this is a good beginning. Let's build on this in 2015. No closures, no cuts. Thank you. No closures. No cuts. No ifs, ands, or buts. No closures. No cuts. No ifs, ands, or buts. No closures. No cuts. No ifs, ands, or buts.
No closures, no cuts, no ifs, ands, or buts. Thank you to all of our speakers today. Special thanks to Senator Merkley for taking the time to join us. It is great to know that our senator isn't sitting on his election day victory. From his remarks here today, it is clear he's already back to work for us and for Oregon. Today is only the beginning of the fight. Postal unions across the country will be gathering on Friday, 11/14, in a national day of action. We must work together to send the message loud and clear. Stop delaying America's mail. There are flyers available with much information about what we discussed today, and a website where more details are available. Before we conclude, I would again like to thank all of our veterans in attendance. Additionally, we're going to take a moment of silence to not only honor those veterans who are with us today,
is under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Postal workers are under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Postal customers under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
I say good jobs. You say no cuts. Good jobs. Good jobs.
Okay.
I say good jobs. You say no cuts. Good jobs.
Okay.
Good jobs. I say good jobs. You say no cuts. Good jobs. Good jobs. Good jobs. All right. Good job. No cuts. Good job.
No cuts.
Good job. No cuts. We gather up here for just a quick minute, have an announcement. You know, the Postal Service is under attack. Dismantling the mail processing plants is not the only thing that's happening. Privatizing of the people's public post offices is going on. They're outsourcing post offices to Staples. So next month, we're going to be doing an action at the Staples at Jansen Beach. The Jansen Beach Staples on Sunday, December 14th, 1 p.m. Put it in your calendar. Sunday, December 14th, 1 p.m. at the Jansen Beach Staples. Gonna send a message to Staples that we're not gonna won't shop, don't buy Staples until they get out of the postal business.
Yeah.
All right? Hey, hey, ho, ho, privatization has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, privatization has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, privatization has got to go. Hey, hey. All right. Thanks, everybody. Happy Veterans Day.
All right, how we doing? Who are you in relationship to all this?
My name is Daniel Cortez. I am the political and legislative director for the Oregon Postal Workers Union, and I'm very, very happy to be here today. Thanks everybody for coming out. We are here today to just try and draw public awareness to the massive cuts and closures and delays in America's mail that are slated to take effect at the beginning of the year. Right now, we are in a fight with the Postal Board of Governors and the Postmaster General, who wants to slow down mail delivery across the country, eliminate plants and mail processing centers, 82 across the country, 3 of which are here in Oregon, and it would just have a devastating impact on everything from prescription deliveries to packages, especially on our vote by mail here in Oregon. If the ballots are allowed to sit, that's a really easy way to steal an election by not even bothering to process the ballots or deliver them to the county offices. So we're just out here trying to gather public support, make everybody aware of the fight that's happening, draw people's attention to the allies that we have in Congress and in the Senate, in Senators Merkley and Wyden, and Congressman Blumenauer and DeFazio especially. Who've all been great champions of the People's Postal Service, and we just urge everybody to get as much information as they can and contact their congressmen, contact their friends and family across the country, and allow the Postal Service to continue moving forward with the job it was entrusted to by the Constitution. The Postal Service is not broke. We made $1 billion in profit this year, and it's through just manipulation and the fact that we're pre-funding future retiree health care benefits 75 years into the future that no other federal agency, no other company does. That's what's causing the supposed shortfall with the Postal Service. But $1 billion in profit in this year alone, we're doing something right. We need to keep delivering for the people of America.
What can just citizens do to get engaged? An average citizen, what would he do? Contact the Postal Service, maybe?
Contact your congressman. That's the biggest thing. We are trying to get legislation passed right now, added to the appropriations bills in both the House and the Senate, to put a 1-year moratorium on closures and cuts and the cuts in service standards. We want that year so that Congress can actually engage in a study of what really will happen, instead of relying on false numbers generated by the Postal Service that aren't based in reality. So we want the Congress to do their job and examine actually the entire picture and then make the best decision for the American people, which we are confident between the reports that have already come out from the Postal Regulatory Commission, from the Inspector Generals, all of which say what the Postmaster General and the Board of Governors are trying to do is potentially illegal, is based on faulty information, and will actually not save the American people anything, when will only serve to dismantle and potentially ruin the future of America's mail delivery.
Well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Jim would do. That's packing.
So you're out here trying to
Out
keep the
here
post
try-
office
yeah,
open.
we're out here trying to keep the post office up and running with the same service standards to provide the service that American public's come to expect. You know, for me personally, I'm a letter carrier in Northeast Portland. I got a new family, got my wife, got a 1.5-year-old daughter. You know, we're trying to build the best life we can, and a lot of that is making sure that the services that are there, not only for me as an employee, but also for the public, stay there. And can't, you know, this is all about, it's all about privatizing. It's all about trying to take service for the good of the people and turn it into a profit maker for corporations. And it just doesn't seem right. When I look at what's happening right now with them trying to close 60% of all the processing plants in the state of Oregon, make it so that all the mail distribution is done either out of Portland or Medford for the entire state, part of Southwest Washington, and part of Northern California. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make financial sense when you think of the extra cost of trucking. It doesn't make environmental sense when you think of all that extra fuel that's going to be burned up out there on the roads. It doesn't make service sense when you're slowing down the service standards, making it so that the next day delivery of first-class mail will be a thing of the past. None of it makes sense, because all of these things are going to not only not save money, they're probably going to lose money, because as the service, as anybody knows, any company, if your service, when you're a service-based industry, gets worse and you don't provide quality service, people will look for something else. And the whole process that they're going through right now is counterintuitive, and it doesn't make sense for our country, it doesn't make sense for our people. Being that it's here on Veterans Day and the post office employs 25% of the employees roughly are veterans, it doesn't make sense to lose those jobs, to make it be so that our young men and women coming back home after serving their time overseas, defending America and our values, it doesn't make sense that they don't have good paying jobs available when they come back. And this gutting of the Postal Service will just take that away from them. And then I look at the retired veterans on my route. The one thing I deliver every single day, no matter what, is medication from the VA for veterans. If the service standards get slowed down, a lot of medications, we won't be able to deliver them anymore, because the only reason the post office is able to is because we have high service standards. We deliver stuff fast enough that none of their medication will potentially expire. You start slowing down service, veterans will not be able to get their needed medication as quickly. And some of the medications they're able to get through the mail right now, they won't get. It's an attack against our retired veterans. It's an attack against their health care.
Anybody on medication that's getting it through the mail. People in rural areas or shut-ins that can't get out to get to their medication. That's how they get it.
Exactly, yeah. The amount of medication that the Postal Service delivers is huge. And we're the one company nationwide, no matter where you live, that provides that service. And these closures, if they go into effect, will gut our ability to do that and potentially lose that capacity for people to be able to get affordable medication delivery to their homes. So I just hope that the public does their part and contacts their congresspeople and their senators and lets them know that they value the service the post office provides for them and their neighbors, and value what we can do for the community, and keep it up and going. And we're on top of that, the post office isn't losing money. This year, we've had a profit of over $1 billion. It just doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form. So I just want to encourage everybody to contact their congresspeople, contact their senators, and encourage them to stand up for maintaining the Postal Service delivery standards, not closing the processing plants, continue 6-day-a-week delivery, and keep what we have intact. Don't destroy America's heritage. Keep it in place. Thank you.
Well said.